Welcome back to round 8 of the Arlington IRL Regional with Three Swords Productions. Nathan, what do we got this round?
Well, we're still in the undefeated bracket here. We got some Law versus Whitebeard.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So Whitebeard, 6K leader, gonna have really, really strong attacks.
Yep.
How is Law prepared to take this down?
You have to bide your time a little bit, have the blockers at the end, and then come in for the good swings like Law knows how to do at a bunch of 6Ks even.
Okay. I mean, we've seen a lot of jump blocks throughout the day. Let's see it.
Alrighty.
All right. Okay, Eric versus Jonathan. Jonathan actually Los Fiends on YouTube.
Oh yes, yeah, the very popular channel for
someone that I actually watch that that player all the time. You know, Sanji content around the internet is a little bit scarce, and it's me. But you know what? Los Fiends is the guy really putting Sanji on his back. So shout out to that man.
All right, resolving the starting mulligans here. What are we looking for out of the Newgate hand here?
Well, I'm certainly looking for any searchers I can get. I believe we're on Strawbeard today.
Okay, so on the Strawbeard package, great. And then on the Law side, you want to look for the early searchers that add to the board. Usually don't tap, so the Namis, the Dons are great. You're fine with the Bonnies or the Momos if you get them out, but
well, Bonnies are really good because they definitely are going to distract your opponent. It's going to be really hard for you to counter out of any of the attacks that Whitebeard sends at you. And Bonnie's giving you a card in hand, most likely going to be Capone Gang, which will be a really nice jump blocker for the end of the game.
All of that is fine. You do need to preserve your board as Law, though. So the tapping ones aren't quite as good as the ones that come in and just let you search for not tapping them.
Like Nami.
Yeah, like Nami, like the Dan, like I said.
Okay, so it looks like we're keeping our hands ready to go here. And representing life with a dice. That's a nice touch there.
It's fine, yeah. And I think we're just waiting for the judge call to give the start around here.
Get around, yeah.
Yep.
So your Law, you go first or second?
I think Newgate always wants to go second, and I think because of that, you just steal the second play from them. You want them to take that early life. You want to be able to attack them earlier. So I think going first is quite important against Newgate with pretty much every single deck.
Going second against Newgate?
Yes, I'm sorry, going second against Newgate.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like when Newgate is going first, they lose so much steam. You know, it's basically 2 turns before they're able to play the forecast. It's a long time before you start seeing Luffy's come down. And they're also taking damage in the meantime, too.
Exactly.
So nothing really feels efficient for them when they get to do that. Now, if they're on Boatbeard, it's a little bit different. They actually have playable cards, but on Strawbeard, it's a little bit worse if they don't open Curly Dedans, Namis, and their searchers. So
exactly, yeah.
And on the Law side, you'll definitely take going second for sure. It gives you an extra card. You can literally start with Joey Bonnie if you'd like.
Yeah, you can do some of the insane starts too of Nami into play a blocker, and you've already attached 2 things to the board ready for your ability to happen in a couple turns. So it is definitely quite nice.
Looks like a little bit of delay before we start round 8 here. I think they're talking to the judge at the moment.
All right. Well, still considering play options here. If we can Newgate... Oh, we're starting, actually. All right, fine. We'll go instead and talk about actual just abilities here. Nami's a great start.
Now, if Whitebeard gets to Nami on turn 1 and Law does not, that's going to feel a little sour.
It will, but it'll be okay. Take the life, and we get our draw.
Started Law in hand already. That's really good.
That is
good. Having your green 5 drops to swap into very early is really powerful. You're not having to tap your Jory Bonnies to find those, and you just have a solid game plan going in.
Yep. We see the Don add the Otama here. I think there were a couple options, but Otama is generally pretty flexible, and it's just a 2K, which is
personally, anytime
nice.
I play Curly Dedan, I'm typically grabbing Otama. Otama being like one of the stronger 2Ks in your deck.
Yep.
And just having a searcher that actually grabs Otama is just insane.
We see the early life here for the 6K come across from the Newgate. Come and take the Law.
Starting Nico Robin is punishing.
Nico Robbins is a good card against the law.
You know, and I would assume, too, that he took a mulligan to find Nico Robin, being that it is going to really play around just anything.
This looks like an Otama on the Nico Robbins and a Vista to kill it.
Okay. And you know what? Seeing the Curly Dan grab Otama and holding Vista in hand is such a powerful combo, while also accelerating your board state. So now you're at 3 characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
As
another
soon as
leader
next
attack
turn.
come in. Oh, and the Luffy just coming in for another 6.
I like that so much. Wow.
Yeah, the 4 life from Law really feeling it at this point with all the 6K attacks.
Yeah. I mean, you are basically an unstoppable attack every turn. It's actually going to be really hard for you to kill that Luffy, so Luffy's going to come across and probably deal another damage next turn, as it's very easy to get around blockers as well.
Absolutely. And that is usually the way that Law mitigates its low life.
That is an insanely powerful start.
So we're starting to see now plays option out where you can start to consider Law's character ability, hero ability, to do some cool plays, like picking up the Dedan or picking up the Otama to instead put in something pretty strong.
Yes, so we do have the starter Law in hand, so we'll be able to, if we can get an attacker on the board, we'll be able to untap it and swing twice really large on the Luffy. Unfortunately, that's a lot of cards in Whitebeard's hand to protect the Luffy, and you don't have a lot of cards for Law.
Okay. Yes, we see the Law ability pick up
Otama. It's going to make it a little bit easier to swing on it. Flickering the Otama is incredibly powerful here. We're going to swing.
We come in for a 4K attack
4K on the 6K.
Newgate usually has a bunch of 2Ks. Not quite as many 1Ks, so pressuring for a 1K attack.
It is very worth it to protect it, though.
Yep.
Okay.
And we just see it go away.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's a disciplined play. I think I actually would have protected it there.
In the face of 2 choppers, it could possibly be kept around.
I think, we might be seeing a second in hand here. That is such a powerful Luffy on this board state.
I think the argument might be that, hey, we still got a lot of game to play.
That's certainly fair.
And now the Ace coming in, be able to deal with what's going on.
Ace really allowing the Nami to get in there, and also the Nami's just going to distract from any attacks that Law might have.
Absolutely. We see coming in 6K to the face. The blocker Law there has been negated for it's 300 from the Ace coming in. So it isn't quite the freest of blocks here like you would hope it to be. Instead, we'll just use the chopper, it looks like, to block.
Yeah, Ace coming across for 7 is really going to pressure the blockers that are on the table, as well as, again, being very difficult to remove. Every character Whitebeard is playing is very powerful and impressively hard to remove.
Yep.
And we picked up second starter Law.
And now from the Law side, you have to start considering how do I want to pressure the life total for my opponent? If they start chaining the 9 beards, coming down again and again, it'll kind of draw the game really away from us. We need to figure out a way to probably be able to do that while also controlling the board, which is difficult.
That's our third Otama effect, which is, wow. That is basically the only way that Law would really have to contest cards like Ace and Luffy without using up all of their Dawn every
Absolutely.
turn. So,
yeah.
Third Otama ability here going to be really clutch. We are seeing second Luffy in hand though, so just kind of as as suspected, don't commit resources to protect the first Luffy when the second one is a surprise.
Sure. And just figuring out rationing our Dawn here. We want to be able to play another character out so then we're able to do the Law ability again.
There's a lot of math that needs to go into this turn. You need to be able to clear the Ace, as well as establish, board quality. You definitely have 2 Otamas on the battlefield right now. You need to figure out a way to pick those up.
Yep. We have that starter Law like you talked about earlier. I think I also saw the 4-mana 6K vanilla Zoro in hand, so that's another thing that could option to come out if you decide that.
And I think it's go time with the starter Laws. The blocker Law swings. It's going to come at the Ace pretty hard.
Notably, does have a minus 2K right now from the Otama ability still on it.
Yes, so this is an 8K attack on the 5K Ace. Sorry, it's a 9K.
It's a 9K attack, yeah. So we either option 3 cards or we just let it die.
Not a lot of counter power that doesn't cost Dawn out of the Whitebeard here.
It's not an amazing hand out of the Whitebeard hand,
no.
But it's fine to let the Ace go. If you have the ability to start chaining 9-drops, which I wasn't exactly sure that I saw there, then it will be quite good. All right.
And I believe that's another chopper.
And, we're coming in for the starter Law comes in, so we do come in for a 9K at them. Yep, again, realizing, hey, we have to worry about that 9-drop coming down here. And he did exactly what he needed to in that turn. Dealt with the board, and also was able to deal that last point of life so the 9-drops don't run away.
Now, having another starter law in hand does mean that your Whitebeard opponent's going to go down to 0 this turn, and you're going to be able to swing on them twice for a lot. And if they don't keep the Dawn open, that might actually just get them.
Yeah, I think Ace is a good play here. Helps get through some of the problems you've got going on, but the problem still is that Chopper is blocking the way that you hope to get through for this attack.
Absolutely.
A 6K attack in means you could probably pitch a 1K here. If that Zoro is in hand like I thought it was, that's probably a pitch that you could consider, so long as you have another big green. Or you can just let it die. That's fair too.
Starter Law really flexing in this matchup. Being able to swing at Whitebeard very strong twice in a single turn while also keeping your 6Ks, your pressure up is just, it may actually end up being enough for this matchup.
Yep, and now we start seeing, okay.
It's pressured him on 2Ks the entire game.
Yes. And now we're going to see the pivot a little bit. Now we're going to start going towards the life, stop worrying about the board probably quite as much. Just starting to force answers out of the hand of the new gate player. So going for a search with the Bonnie. I imagine we're looking for either the starter law type effects, blocker law type effect, or a Beige.
We did find Zoro there. We also found starter law, so we really have a pick here.
And optioning, I think I saw Zoro in hand too, yeah.
Yeah. Got a lot going on here. We're going to take blocker law there.
Blocker law, yeah.
Be able to pick up the Otama so that you can clear Ace very easily again.
Yep, that's an option. You can also option to pick up the Bonnie and play something else that has a good effect.
Yeah, still holding the Otama that you picked up last turn in order to play the starter law.
Yep. So I think at this point it's probably a nice 2K to have, or we can use it here to make sure the Ace is gone.
This was a masterful use of the Otamas. Definitely just Curly Dan being able to grab that tool end up being the biggest resource in this matchup. Whitebeard, definitely no slouch here, recognizing, hey, my characters are very hard to get over.
Absolutely.
It's basically put you on Otama or you just die. And unfortunately, he was able to use the Otama over and over. Whitebeard, kind of the weakness of Strawbeard here, you don't have a lot of removal effects. Squard, you possibly have Vista in some builds, but he did lean on the Nico Robin early, and unfortunately was met with Otama Vista.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that definitely is proven to be one of the biggest turning points, because if Nico Robbins is able to stick around, that will run away with a lot of the match. It looks like we're swinging just the 5K on the Ace. It is an even attack.
I mean,
pressure the
your opponent's holding open events, Don representing events, so there's no real reason to swing big. They can just get out of that pretty easily. So.
Yep. And here's the law ability to play blocker law. I'm going to add it back to our hand. What are we putting in? That looks like a Zoro to me.
Yes.
And now we can start going in for attacks.
This was an impressive turning of the corner. Now, it's really sad that we let that Luffy go earlier in the game. I think if we were able to have kept that, this would have been a little bit different, as you would not have been chump blocked by the choppers over and over.
We see 6K on the Ace, pitches out with a 2K. And another big attack on the Ace.
And there goes
Radical Beam.
Radical Beam.
Okay. I mean, you got good cards out of the hand of Whitebeard this turn, so definitely not upsetting.
These are definitely two Titans going at it. Every turn feeling like, if I don't kill my opponent, they might kill me. And guard point to protect.
Sure. I think that's maybe a concession of realizing I left the Dawn open this turn. I need to really use it for the next turn.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think that's reasonable. Your opponent definitely posturing to kill you. And playing the Zoro, you have to be a little bit intimidated when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have a lot of Dawn available to use. We see two blockers on the battlefield here.
Okay. Options being 9K, 9-drop here.
Yeah.
Or attacks to really go down at the board.
Well, you're also holding Luffy in your hand, so if you can sneak an attack past one of these blockers, then you can really get your opponent. Although at this point they probably recognize that too. It's going to be very hard to sneak past those blockers. So
I think it would either be difficult or they know that you've committed so much to just getting that Luffy attack in that okay, now I can really pressure you down specifically.
Well, you'd start by swinging with the Ace, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's where all roads start.
Probably some number just on your opponent's leader, and then, try and get them to use the blockers. Them blocking out is certainly going to cost them resources as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Makes it very difficult for them to continue the pressure up.
Yep, and we see the 7K coming into the Zoro, it looks like.
Okay.
We could see
the Zoro still basically requesting the same respect. Do you just block with your chopper? Are you going to tap your law here to get out of this with the 2K? And then I have the ability to start attacking your blockers that matter to you.
Yep.
So we are going to block here. Probably get the Otama that we've been holding.
Yep.
And definitely, if I'm Whitebeard, I'm happy to see the Otama finally gone. That card has been a nuisance.
In these ending turns, it's probably lost a little bit of its power, but yeah, the 2K side of it is often one of the stronger two.
Mm-hmm.
With one Dawn open too, you have to consider maybe there's an event like a Radical Beam 2 that we'll have to worry about.
Well, we're certainly still holding 2 events, so our counter power is still very high. We are also holding 2 Luffys. Unfortunately, we don't have any blockers for this turn. So, our opponent just being able to possibly swing at us for 11 or 12K twice is going to be very strong. And definitely these are all considerations. You have to respect that and try and go board as much as you can, but your opponent really only needs one character to be able to attack you for way more than you can defend at this point.
Okay.
Going 9-drop here, trying to make yourself an 8K.
Yep, and we'll see an attack on the Zoro.
This should just be a block out with the chopper.
It's still difficult to attacks back from the side of Law here. A bunch of 8Ks is much harder, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you could afford to do it, but that will mean that you're playing a lot of Dawn into just attacking.
Well, we're an 8K base, and we only have 1 Dawn open. Our opponent does have about 6 cards in hand, so if we can swing 12 or 14 twice, swing 12 twice. Yeah. You just counter out.
And there's the Radical Beam I saw. Seems like a good time to use that. Protect everything that's going on. And where do we start? Probably start with okay.
Okay, another Otama coming down. Yeah. Just going to clear the board again.
Yep, and I think he just has to let it die.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. And then playing that gives us our 5th character, which gives us options to definitely use the Law ability to do any type of manner that our opponent doesn't know about. So there's a lot of options that they have to play around, which is very difficult to play against the Law for that reason.
Yes, and you're still having to sink mana into playing characters out so that you have your Law ability. And like I said, it's all of these turns are, if I don't kill my opponent, I lose the game. So you're trying to really play around that inevitability. You certainly don't want to be embarrassed because you didn't calculate exactly what you needed.
Yep. And I think there was an attack for 13 coming in.
Okay. And that took him up to 14 Radical, with the 2K?
Yeah. Radical plus that. And an attack in. Looks like the side of Law gets it again.
And Law got there. That is a very impressive start. Earlier in the match when I saw the attack, just Luffy coming down, swing on the leader, I was like, you know what? That's actually a very insane way to pressure Law because your Luffy, you have so many cards in hand to protect the Luffy. It's going to be really difficult for Law to both, establish a board and pressure your Luffy and pressure your life at the end of the game. And the entire time, you're just swinging twice for 7K every turn and just saying, hey, what are you going to do about it? Because all your searchers have to go towards countering out. You're not going to be able to put them on the table, which is necessary. So, very early on, it looked really bad for the Law player. But then, you were able to break Luffy. You solve one problem, and then you solve the next, and then you solve the next. And I think that Law player was able to weave that together nicely.
Yeah, I really believe so. Plus all of the good Otama used to really clear things like the Ace.
Ooh, the number of Otamas played in that game was over 9,000. That was insane.
Yeah, it was very nice for that effect.
Yeah. Well, that does it for round 8. We'll be back with round 9 in about an hour. So, if you're subscribed to the channel already, get the notification. If you're not, consider doing so, and we will see you in the next one.